All right, so what's important to realize is that the thumb, the depth of the hole on the neck and of the neck of the violin, and the placement of the thumb really kind of depends on what you're playing, and also depends on the proportion of your hand, right? So for me, I'll just give you an example. When I do some like thirds or whatever. I'll be prepared for some terrible playing. Oh god. If I do thirds, okay, I like to have my thumb deeper. It just feels more comfortable getting as I prepare just to play thirds. Okay, and thirds. Right? And it's just much more comfortable for me. Now if I play, like, for example, scales. See, my thumb, I like to have it not as deep. It gives me better, well, at least a higher probability that I might not play so horrendously out of tune. If I do something like that, I find it easier to keep my thumb a little further back. So I hope this kind of clarifies at least that depending on the proportions of your hand, where your thumb is not an absolute thing that you must absolutely stick to regardless of what you're doing. Eventually, you know, if your hands are similar to mine, you might end up with a you know, realization that when you do something like thirds, or when you are, I guess third is the biggest, or anything that's similar to thirds. Let me think for a second. Yeah, I think it's mostly thirds. Yeah. When I'm doing those things, yeah, it's completely different. Yeah, it's a little different, especially when you're doing thirds, and depending on you know, how much I want to vibrate those thirds. I do have a deeper hold of the violin, and then when I'm doing just normal scales or arpeggios, okay, I like to have my thumb farther back and my hand really, my arm pumped forward in my hand in this position. This position, coincidentally, or well, not coincidentally, is actually the same position for twiddle. And so practicing, for example, twiddle or those exercises will really discipline your hand to get comfortable in the ideal position for ideal intonation in playing the violin. Okay, so I hope that kind of at least clarifies that there is no one place your thumb must be at all times, and it does change depending on what you're doing. Yeah, we'll go from there.